in their willingness in bringing him to the temple, they were saying, like, God, this is your child. He was your child from the beginning, but I'm offering him to do whatever you have for his whole life. Ready?
Drum roll.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to...
For heaven's sake, I'm your co-host, Kaylin Jones.
And I'm Jenny Morgan, and this is episode 16 of our Advent series. And today we've got some interesting characters on our Characters of the Bible. And really, when going through these characters, like, there are so many of the characters we've already talked about that are a part of this. But we see something significant in this part of the story. And so I'm going to take us to Luke 2 in verses 21 through 24. And it says, 8 days later, when the baby was circumcised, he was named Jesus, and the name given by the angel even before he was conceived. Then it was time for the purification offering, as required by the law of Moses after the birth of a child. So his parents took him to Jerusalem to present him to the Lord. The law of the Lord says, if a woman's first child is a boy, he must be dedicated to the Lord. And so they offered the sacrifice required in the law of the Lord, either a pair of turtle doves or 2 young pigeons. And so our characters of today are the turtle doves and the pigeons. And a few things.
I got it. 2 turtle doves,
And
3
a part-
pigeons,
yeah.
and a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes. We'll
Had to
just
get
say
it out
we
of
should
my
have just said
system.
turtle doves. Just call it
I
done.
feel better.
Okay, good. So Jesus is born. The shepherds have come to see the Messiah, and Mary and Joseph are doing the thing that is called of them as Jewish parents, which is to see that the child is circumcised and also is presented to the Lord. And I was giggling earlier because it's like, okay, you have Jesus, you're like presenting Jesus to himself. But to, like, genuinely, whenever we dedicate children, we're like, we dedicate them, like, back to God. Like, we're giving them back to God. And I think that this is a beautiful picture of Mary and Joseph doing this thing, saying, you've given me this son, you've entrusted me to take care of him, but I'm giving him back to you, knowing that the remainder of his life, all of his life, is to do the will of the Father.
Literally the only kid in the world that's better off in his own hands.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So they brought Jesus from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, which was a short distance. And they were just acknowledging that the child belonged to God, that they were following these Levitical laws. When you go back to, and I thought I had it in here, Leviticus 12 and verse 8, it talks about that the sacrifice required after giving birth was either a lamb or 2 turtle doves or young pigeons. And we noted earlier in different episodes that, or maybe it was just in our conversation, that it was likely that they brought these 2 turtle doves or pigeons as their sacrifice because of their poverty, not really having the means, living in a place that was not their home, not having the flock to bring a lamb to the offering, but then also at the same time having the lamb who will be slain for the world with them. That spotless lamb that is to be offered in the end was the one that they were presenting and providing an alternative offering for. I just think it's a cool picture. Yeah. And so I wanted to make sure that we talked about it. That they did bring the lamb, but it wasn't his time. It wasn't that kind of offering. But in their willingness in bringing him to the temple, they were saying, like, God, this is your child. He was your child from the beginning, but I'm offering him to do whatever you have for his whole life. And that it was, again, proof that Jesus was not, he didn't come to be above the law. He didn't come to be above the law of Moses, that he came to fulfill the law of Moses. So that, and I said this whenever we talked about Joseph, was that he was entrusted as the spiritual leader of their house. And so this is significant in ensuring that they follow all of these Levitical laws before he's given as the sacrifice for sin, that he's not in any way like skirting around what the expectation of the law was that Moses had given, but that they were there fulfilling it, and that he would continue to fulfill it until the end.
Till the end. That's so good.
Yeah. So interesting characters of the day, the turtle doves and the pigeons. But I do think that it's important to note that Mary and Joseph were willing to bring Jesus to the temple to offer him back to God after he was born. So, all right. I know that was short and sweet and to the point, but we appreciate you joining us for episode 16 of For Heaven's Sake.
Episode 16 of the Advent
series.
This has been For Heaven's Sake.
Great job.
Bye.
We're getting delirious.